A fresh face, Mitt Romney, was brought in to shape up the now tainted 2002 Olympics. The fact that the new face was pure good member Mormon was supposed to be purely incidental, just like the fact that the Utah Olympics were going to break the Sabbath on several weekends. In the wake of the bid scandal, Utah Olympic fundraising lagged. Things began to turn dim for the Utah Olympic effort. It seemed like a fitting way for the Utah Olympics to fizzle out. It was only natural for those raised to keep all of God's commandments all of the time to think that funding problems for the corrupted Utah Olympics was a divine manifestation and proof that the Olympics had no business coming to a town that alternately used Zion as its name. Funding efforts suddenly turned around when the LDS Inc. First Presidency issued a request for Mormon members to staff the underfunded 2002 Olympic Games on a volunteer basis. And LDS Inc. started squeezing prominent Mormons like John Huntsman for heavy funding support. Once Utah Olympic finances were finally lined up, the fresh new face heading Sloth was heralded as saving the Olympics. It was pure LDS Inc. PR spin in action, creating an Olympic managing golden boy to cheer about so everyone could forget about the original Olympic scandal by reassigning responsibility for all the church had done to bring the Olympics to Utah and reframing it as good instead of criminal and underhanded. The church was not going to tolerate corruption. It was going to get in bed with it. And the good members who could volunteer to staff the 2002 Olympics were given an invitation to come along. Residents of Zion, Utah, who did not feel inclined to help with officially hosting the 2002 Games were viewed as substandard. Anyone still questioning the need for the 2002 Olympics was labeled as a malcontent. The hype, the thrill, and the fury of the 2002 Olympic Games was supposed to be exhilarating enough that no one was supposed to notice, that no one at LDS Inc. ever stood up, as in standing for something, to take responsibility for actually authorizing the expenditure of the $2 million. By corporate protocol and default, that responsibility would then fall on the LDS Inc. head trustee, Gordon B.S. Hinckley, where it most likely belonged anyway. Using the typical Mormon approach, good members often ask others why they no longer attend the church. They have to find out the reason because they care so much about problems like that, even if they were totally unconcerned about who actually authorized the $2 million that LDS Inc. sent to Slock. When Mormon good members of my family get around to trying to blame me and shame me for no longer attending the church, they often ask me what my good grandparents would think of me. It is a good question. What would my dear grandparents think of me, since I am not the one who worked at the rodeo on Sunday, and since I did not work at the Olympics on Sunday either, and since I am not the one who used sacred church funds, non-offering based or otherwise, for criminal purposes to bribe a worldly festival of sports into coming to Zion to infringe on the Sabbath. And since it is impossible for me to have any respect for the person who did, because of the fine example that my honorable grandparents had set for me. For the record, I never quit the church. I just came to the realization that Mormonism had been fizzled out from its very beginning, due to the example of corrupt Mormon church leaders. I came to this realization largely due to my grandmother's enduring example of honesty and integrity that readily exposes frauds and those of shoddy character, no matter how great of a holy man or PR genius they may claim to be. So, if anyone has to be blamed, then blame Grandma, because she knew how to stand for something